Yo everyone, it's Brennan here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about everything Robo Advisors. I'll be sharing what they are, why they exist, who should use them, and many more. By the end of this video, you have everything that you need to start using a Robo Advisor and get that compound interest train going. Just a disclaimer that I'm just a random person on the internet and this is merely my opinion for entertainment purposes. You should seek out your financial advisor or do your due diligence before making any investment decisions. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. It's important to understand how people actually invest in stocks. If you give me 35 seconds of your time, I'll give you a quick breakdown on how people actually do that. First off, there's this thing called a stock exchange, which is basically like a marketplace for people to pick and choose what companies they would like to invest in. Some examples of stock exchanges include SGX from Singapore, NYSE from US, HKEX from Hong Kong, and SSE from China. People gain access to these stock exchanges either through brokerages such as MooMoo, Tiger Brokers, and Interactive Brokers, where they basically create and manage everything themselves, or they can just taichi it to someone else like an investment manager to handle all of that for them. So that leads me to my next point, which is what are Robo Advisors and why do they even exist? In the past, people hired financial advisors to manage their investments. Financial advisors will understand your background and needs and thereafter create and manage a portfolio that's personalized for you. The downside is that because they're providing this service, they tend to charge a hefty management fee, which is 2% or above, or they can charge a commission-based fee that would eat away at your profits. Enter the 21st century innovation, Robo Advisor! These are online platforms that require you to input details such as your financial goals and risk appetite. They will then use fancy and proven algorithms to generate a portfolio for you. All you need to do is throw your money at them and they will take care of the rest. Robo Advisors offer themselves as a better solution by making it super quick and easy to start at a lower cost. So who should use Robo Advisors? Let's go over the key pros and cons. Under the pros, first off, ease of use. Robo Advisors offer intuitive mobile and web applications and they make the sign-up process really super simple. Secondly is low barrier to entry. None of you need to have the wealth of Bill Gates because many Robo Advisors only require a small capital to begin. Thirdly is low cost. Robo Advisors charge management fees of less than 1%, which is a great starting point for beginner investors. You also don't need to pay extra fees for any depositing or withdrawal of funds. Number 4 is that you're automatically diversified. Balance is the key to life, and similarly for your investments. Robo Advisors help to reduce risk by investing in a good mix of assets for your portfolios. And number 5 is low commitment. There are 2 points to this. Firstly is low effort commitment because absolutely no research or investing knowledge is required. Secondly is time commitment. Robo Advisors allow you to liquidate your investments anytime without having you to incur any penalties should you need the cash for other reasons. And now, moving on to the cons. First off is little flexibility, which is probably the biggest downside to using Robo Advisors. Robo Advisors work by algorithms and you have to play by their rules. Even if you want to change something up because you have some particular investing insight, you won't be able to do so. And secondly, it is higher cost in relation to DIY investments. While we mentioned that Robo Advisors are cheaper than using investment managers, the fees are still going to be more expensive than if you were to do your investments DIY. Now that I've highlighted the pros and cons, so who should use Robo Advisors? You are the prime candidate if you don't know or don't intend to learn how to invest, only have small capital or you just want to start out small, or you want an easy, passive, fire and forget investment style. Next, let's discuss what you need to consider when choosing a Robo Advisor. First off is fees. Here's a quick infographic from Seedly. Each platform will have their own management fee system. Some are cheaper than others, some have fixed rate, while others have tiered rates. Of course, when I say this, most of us are just going to zoom into the cheapest one and have our minds made up, but seriously, there's more to it than just fees. Which brings me to the second factor you should consider, which is minimum capital required. Some Robo Advisors have no minimum capital required, while others have varying amounts from $1 all the way up to $5,000. Of course, depending on your financial situation, do choose the option that is best for you. Thirdly is types of capital supported. All Robo Advisors would support cash as an option to fund your portfolio. But for some select Robo Advisors like Endowas, Money Owl, and Stashaway, you can invest the monies in your CPF and SRS. This basically provides users with alternatives beyond just using cash. Number 4 is company credentials. All Robo Advisors are regulated by the Monetary Authority of Singapore and need to be properly licensed. That reduces the risk of Robo Advisors having any shady practices. On top of this, you can go ahead and research on the company background and history, or you can go to websites like Seedly to find the more popular and well-reviewed Robo Advisors. The reason for bringing this up is that in the unlikely but possible scenario that these Robo Advisors go bust, you might have to suffer some losses in your investments. For example, a Robo Advisor called Smartly was shut down in March 2020. The most probable reason was because they weren't that profitable due to intense competition from other Robo Advisors with lower fees, leading to an unsustainably small customer base and eventually deciding to close shop. But let me be clear on this. If a Robo Advisor shuts down, it doesn't mean that all your money disappears into thin air. Your money is held in a separate account from the company's operations, and you'll just be forced to liquidate your investments regardless of its state. And finally, the last factor that you should consider is the potential returns. Of course, all of us want the most returns for our investments. If you're interested to see a comparison, I'll link in the description below a post made by Keith from Investment Modes that shows just that. Ultimately, have a balanced approach and consider all the factors that were mentioned when choosing a Robo Advisor. Now, how do we get started? Number 1, select a portfolio. Robo Advisors will offer different kinds of portfolios for varying risk appetites and financial goals. Generally, there are higher risk portfolios that are meant for more aggressive growth of wealth, and there are lower risk portfolios that are meant for risk managed growth of wealth or wealth preservation. For example, for high risk portfolios, Stashaway's version is literally called high risk, whereas Syfe's version is called core growth. For less aggressive portfolios, Stashaway's version is called core, whereas Syfe's version is called core defensive. So, for the first step, select a portfolio that matches your risk appetite and financial goals. Is it for wealth accumulation, for retirement, or funding your child's education? Or is it for wealth preservation like hedging your money against inflation? The next step is sign up for an account. Now this is ridiculously simple and it shouldn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes. And finally, number 3, make a commitment by smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm. LOL. But jokes aside, if you want to invest, let's treat this seriously. I suggest putting an initial sizable deposit so that you're actually telling yourself that, hey, you're doing this. And after that, cultivate the habit of investing by putting smaller amounts on a regular basis. For example, you can make an initial deposit of $1,000 and then on a monthly basis, add $100 to grow that compound interest train. In fact, what you're actually applying is a very popular investing strategy called dollar cost averaging. I'll talk more about it in my future videos, but to summarize, select a portfolio according to your risk appetite and financial goals, sign up for an account which is really quick and simple, and make a commitment by depositing money. After that, the Robo Advisor will handle the rest for you. For myself, I use Syfe to manage a REITs portfolio, which is a fancy way of saying real estate stocks, and I use Endowas to invest the money in my CPF ordinary account. If you want, referral codes are down in the description for you to get some free sign-up bonuses. And finally, we've come to the fun part. Because I want to be part of your Robo Advisor journey and stick it out with you, I'll be doing an experiment called Robo Advisor Wars. I've selected 5 Robo Advisors to fight it out, which are Stashaway, Syfe, Endowas, Money Owl, and, so that we don't leave the banks out, DBS Digi Portfolio. I'll be starting out with $100 with the exception of DBS Digi Portfolio, which requires a minimum investment of $1,000. I'll then slowly add $100 every month, and then we'll see how each one of them fares. Robo Advisor Wars will start on the 10th of June, and I'll provide a spreadsheet to track the progress. I'll release a spreadsheet link on my Instagram page and Telegram group, so head over there and be on the lookout for it. I'm super excited because I'm here to journey with you guys for the long run so that we can reap the benefits of using Robo Advisors. And with that said, thank you for sticking to the end of this video. If you haven't smashed that like button, what are you waiting for? Turn that button blue now so that we'll have fewer like buttons suffering from being ignored. I'll be donating 1 cent for every 2 likes to 1 tree planted. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell for more good content. With that said, thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.